Welcome to today's Medicare 360 show. I'm your host, Jennifer Lee. We are going right at it to the Medicare New Handbook for 2025, page 66, section 4 on Medicare Advantage plans and other options. How do I find out if my plan covers a service, drug, or supply? You or your provider could get a decision, either spoken or in writing from your plan in advance, to find out if covers a service, drug, or supply. You could also find out how much you'll have to pay. This is called an organization determination. Sometimes you have to do this as prior authorization for your plan to cover the service, drug, or supply. Go to page 101. You, your representative, or your doctor can request this organization determination. The requested organization determination can be either oral or written. Based on your health needs, you and your representative or your doctor can ask for a fast decision on your organization determination request. If your plan denies coverage, the plan must tell you in writing and you have the right to appeal. Go to pages 97 to 100. If a plan provider refers you for a covered service or to a provider outside the network but doesn't get an organization determination in advance, this is called plan direct care. Most cases you won't have to pay more than the plan's usual cost sharing. Check with your plan for more information about this protection. I would say on this, making sure you get the proper approvals and authorizations is key. Sometimes when a client changes their plan, reauthorizations and approvals have to be submitted again. So keep that in mind. You just, might not be able to see that specialist and think it's paid for, but there needs to be authorizations and approvals. I've had this in instances where this has happened, and depending on the insurance company and the medical provider, if they're willing to put the approval or authorization and send it in and get it approved, it's a way for you to get reimbursed for that. So that may help. This is a little bit different in regards to like the prescription drugs or authorization. Actually, it's a little bit similar. What I've been noticing lately there are prescription drugs like such as a GLP, like the Ozempic or the Mounjaro, that the insurance carrier does request an approval from the doctor, approving that this person should take this medication. And so with that, sometimes a client will get a denial letter or think it's a denial, and it's not necessarily the case. The drug is covered on the formulary. However, there are approvals from the doctor. So the insurance company could send that request to the doctor, and the doctor just sends an approval back. Or being proactive, the doctor could send it to the insurance company as well. But of course, every situation and case is different. So please just make sure to look at your own designated plan. So let's go to types of Medicare Advantage plans. Health Maintenance Organization, HMO plan, right? Some people hate this plan, some people love it. So let's dive deep on it. Can I get my health care from any doctor or other healthcare provider or hospital? No, you generally must get your care and service from doctors, other healthcare providers, or hospital in the plan network, except for emergency care, out of area urgent care, or temporary out of area dialysis, which is covered whether it's provided in the plan's network or outside the plan's network. However, some HMO plans, known as HMO point of service, HMO POS plans, offer an out-of-network benefit for some or all covered benefits for a higher copayment or co-insurance. You get this question asked a lot: if I'm going out of state or not in my area, what's covered? usually for these HMO plans, when you're seeing a specialist or a primary doctor that's further from not on your ID card or further from where you live, you cannot do that. Get approvals and authorizations, but it could get denied. But of course, if you have an emergency and you need to go to the hospital or you need to go to urgent care out of the area, you definitely have that coverage. Either, you show them your ID card, health ID card, and they will get that bill to your provider or your insurance company, or you have to pay it upfront and then you could get that reimbursed by your insurance company. So keep that in mind. That's the biggest thing with the HMOs. Another thing to cover is some plans do say HMO POS. So my clients are like, oh, point of sale, I'm able to go outside of my network. That may not necessarily true. The key thing is the benefits, right? Covered benefits. So sometimes these Medicare insurance plans have that POS, but that POS is only, take for example, used for dental. The HMO is, you have to have the one primary doctor, general practitioner, and they refer you out to the medical group. And then like the POS could be some type of benefits, like the dental is a big one. Some Medicare plans, Medicare Advantage plans do allow you to go out of the network for the dental, say chiro, acupuncture, podiatry, you name it. So please do not get confused on that as well. And then another big thing is urgent care. If urgent care is within your area, sometimes the medical group that you are with wants you or requires you to go to an urgent care that's part of their medical group, right? So keep that in mind. Sometimes it won't be covered if it's a medical group urgent care place that just doesn't cover that group, if that makes sense. Okay, let us move on. Do these plans cover prescription drugs? In most cases, yes. If you're planning to enroll in an HMO and you want Medicare Drug Coverage Part D, you must join an HMO plan that offers Medicare drug coverage. If you join an HMO plan without drug coverage, you can't join a separate Medicare drug plan. So let's talk about that. Most of the Medicare Advantage plans do have the drug plan embedded. That's why it's called MAPD, or Medicare Advantage Prescription Drug, right? So that's MAPD. So the drug coverage is on there. However, there are Medicare Advantage plans that don't include the prescription drugs. So those plans are just called MA, Medicare Advantage. So it's like, why do they even have those plans? There's very reasons. Some people don't need a drug plan, and it's because they have coverage elsewhere. I highly recommend not actually not having a drug plan on it if only a few things apply, right? That you have credible drug coverage somewhere else, be it VA or TRICARE or a group health plan, okay? But if you don't have that, please, please, please get a drug plan. I've had a instance where a client was like, oh, I'm all set. Someone called me over the phone and we went over options. I don't take drugs, so I specifically told her I don't need a prescription drug plan. So what did this agent that was an order taker do? Give her a plan that didn't have a drug plan, which when I compared it first, the maximum out-of-pockets were way higher, the benefits were way lower, and she didn't have a drug plan. Be it that she didn't need drugs, but she did tell me she was going to go to surgery. So who knows, maybe the doctor or the hospital would needed to prescribe her drugs after the fact. And then be it that for every single month that you're not on a drug plan and should be on it because you don't have credible drug coverage, you will be penalized 1%. Okay, so be it 1 year, so that's 12%, 2 year, 24, and even 5 years at 60%. Okay. So might not be, if you do the calculations, that big, right? But it's just the fact that you needed to get one and you didn't, right? And most Medicare Advantage plans that do have a drug plan, there's really no bigger cost to getting it. So please take a look and make sure. I know my clients always ask me, oh, do I have a drug plan? Yes. I mean, for my clients, they do have a drug plan. Obviously, I wouldn't put someone in that predicament that they would be penalized for something that I offered them or not offered them. So be wary of those agents that are just order takers and have no idea what they're doing. I can't believe it does happen. I've seen it happen. But more to that. Oh, yeah, I actually had another story on that. Just recently, I had a client. She had mentioned to me that, sorry, Jennifer, I accidentally clicked on some Facebook ads and someone called me and I thought they were Medicare at first, but turns out they're another agent. Um, she really wanted some over-the-counter benefits on her plan. And so she says, you know what, I was able to get more over-the-counter benefits. So sorry, I changed my plan. And when you change your plan, I no longer become her agent, right? I can't really service it. I can't look at it and help her. So I totally understand. Sometimes people are guilted or sold a plan, and it's very hard for a person to say no over the phone. So I said, I totally understand, but let me see what plan you have just to make sure that I'm doing my due diligence um, and seeing what's going on. She told me the type of plan she had, compared it right off the bat. I'm like, oh no, this might not be a good plan for her. So right off the bat, when I compared, this person put her on a plan without a drug plan, a prescription drug plan. Okay, so instead of an MAPD, which she had, they put her on an MA. Okay, she's getting $124 back, given back to her Part B premiums. This plan was going to give her $100, albeit that she was going to get like $50 or $150 per quarter over the counter. But what good is that going to do with, first, your drugs aren't going to be covered because there's no drug plan. You'll be penalized 1% for every single month that you didn't have a drug plan and had to. You essentially lost $24 a month. So what is that? That's $300. So all in all, it wasn't right. The nice thing about it is she did reach out to me, right? Just to give me the heads up and the respect that some agents do really want, because they know if clients want to leave. And because it was an effective July 1st effective date, we were able to cancel that plan that she was going to go into. So be wary. Not all agents are going to be the same. I would hope most agents do what's right, give sound advice and recommendations to their client versus just trying to make a sale. And here at Premier 360, we are not about that. We're always going to do what's right for the client, what's in their best interest, and just provide the facts, right? It's all about facts. What can a plan provide a client? Peace of mind, coverage, the benefits they want, and nothing else they don't need, right? Because some plans really are not as stable as others, right? But going off my tangent, sometimes you are, let's just say you don't get something for nothing, right? So if you're getting a lot of money back, you're really not going to get like tons of benefits. And if, say, the company is just more stable, they're not going to give you tons of benefits, right? Let's just say an insurance company wants to grow their book of business. Then they're going to entice you for better benefits. So just taking all that in consideration, for me, because I know how to navigate through the ups, the downs, the changes on these plans, I'm just confident in whatever type of benefits you want or stability of the company is forefront. And we do talk about that. So we could go over your options, right? Because ultimately, it is the person's choice on what plan they want to go to. Um, as a great agent, they're just giving you the options. And the biggest thing too is, after the fact, right? Are your agent going to be there for you after they enrolled you in a plan, right? Some agents are like, set it, forget it. I'm never going to talk to this client again. Never going to go over their benefits unless they call me. Like, what type of approach do you want an agent to have? Be it more proactive, reactive, never talk to you again, and so forth. But I mean, for the most part, I think people definitely want a relationship, trust, um, just mutual understanding of the client's needs as they progress in their, senior journey and so forth. I did go over a tangent on that, but I really wanted to hone in on that. It might not be you, but it could be a loved one, a mother, father, aunt, uncle, that just um, sometimes gets persuaded over the phone or even in person. So those are near dear to my heart. I really appreciate the client reaching out to me to let me know, because if she did not, um, then I would have known till the end of the year when I would call her for her review, and then just surprise. And sometimes it does happen. Sometimes clients think that I am their agent, but they were called and reached out to the insurance company, or maybe someone pretending to be from the insurance company and move their plans like that. It's just the bad stuff in our business that give agents a bad name, and wish more regulation and compliance are on that. While Medicare is trying to put more compliance, sometimes not, it's probably not with bad intention, but just knowing the industry and how it works, and how we could just take the bad ideas away. That is just another topic, and I'm just going off on a tangent here. So, do I need to choose a primary care doctor? Yes. So, on your Medicare ID card, not the original one, the one from the insurance company, it's going to have your doctor on there in your medical group. So, that is your primary doctor. Of course, sometimes that doctor will allow you to see someone in their own medical group if they're busy or however they run their practice. But that's your doctor and your medical group, and that's the one you have to see to get a referral. Do I have to get a referral to use a specialist? In most cases, yes. Certain services like yearly mammogram screenings don't require a referral. Okay, so we are at page 67. What else do I need to know about this type of plan? If you don't get non-emergency healthcare outside the plans, if you don't, I mean, if you get non-emergency healthcare outside the plan's network without authorization, you may have to pay the full cost. It's important to follow the plan's rules, like getting prior approval for a certain service when needed. Visit Medicare.gov or check with the other plan for more information. So I do want to dive on this a little bit more. So I would say HMOs or health marketing organizations, it could definitely work for the consumer, the client, the senior, right? Sometimes there's a stigma on it, but sometimes for being managed care, meaning you have one primary doctor that refers you to a specialist, and they all sync up because they're all in the same medical group. If you do choose a great medical group, then it should sync. They should be talking to each other in regards to your care. And that's why sometimes people are like, I don't know who to go to, you know, so you have your doctor to refer you out. Um, that's totally different than the PPO option, but we'll discuss that later. With the HMO, that's why most people like it. They're okay with getting that approval or authorization and going through their primary doctor. But of course, if you're just totally not into that, don't. Depending on the medical group, some of the medical groups give you a referral really fast, and I would say it just depends on their systems, their staff. A lot of factors go to place, so I do recommend that you do choose a good medical group. So if there are escalation issues, you could be able to contact like me, your Medicare agent, or the insurance company or your doctor for that case. What else I want to talk about when it comes to HMOs? So depending on the area that you're in or county, right? Because these Medicare Advantage plans are based on county, I would say that it will make a difference if HMO would be a good option for you, because I would say medical groups that the doctors are in, as well as the hospitals, do count for your level of care, right? The nice thing about these plans, you definitely could change your doctor or your medical group. The only bad thing is, like, if you are in an area that don't have a lot of doctors, don't have a lot of medical groups to pick from, right? But if you're in a competitive area trying to get your business, there is so many medical groups to pick from, and it's a great thing, because if you're not happy with one, you could definitely transfer to a different doctor or medical group, and we're able to help you out with that as well. So some of my clients, they are leery on the HMO model, but they're quite healthy. They don't really have doctors or specialists, and they're looking at the benefits, and it just really is different from, say, an original Medicare or a non-HMO plan. So they do give it a try. Haven't had a lot of complaints on this. Of course, sometimes there's an approval or authorization needed, but that is something we definitely help with, and help contact the doctor, the medical group, the insurance company, get you what you want in a timely, fashionable manner. Those are things I would say a great Medicare agency agent could do for you, is actually just help you. Of course, we're not healthcare professionals, but on the insurance side, um, we know a thing or two, and we do have connections and contacts with different medical groups, doctors, and insurance companies to escalate your issues, and so forth. So I do want to end it with there. We are still on Section 4, Medicare Advantage plans and other options. I'm happy to discuss HMOs with you, or PPOs, or any other plan. But till next week, we will sign off. I'm your host, Jennifer Lee, with Medicare 360. You have a wonderful day, and we will talk soon. You take care. Bye-bye.